Hey, hello, and welcome to the show. It's me, JP. It is time for JP's product pick of the week. Thank you, everyone, for stopping by, for joining us on all of the different video streaming places that we have. And some of those we're keeping an eye on the chat, actually just YouTube. So hello to Tyeth Gundry and Llama School and Dave Odessa. Thanks for joining us over in the YouTube chat. If you're somewhere else and you're wondering, hey, where is this chat? Who's he talking to? You head on over to our Discord, which is that right there. It is at adafru.it/Discord, and you can look for the live broadcast channel, live broadcast chat channel right there, that one. I'm trying to point at it. Display is not mirrored, everything's backwards. Join up in there. People are hanging out. So hello to DJ, Devin 3, Blitz City DIY, C. Grover, Jim Hendrickson. Oh, actually, DJ Devin 3, that was from a yesterday chat. I don't know if you're here. Thin Man, hello, welcome. Doing well, yes, thank you. Hey, Todd Bot. And we have the 3 dots of typing because Mouse is typing. Will this be another wild sheep chase? Retired Wizard, hello all. So yes, hey DBD over in our YouTube chat. Thank you for stopping by. So let's see. First of all, I will send you on over to these URLs. We have actually a double header today. We have 2 very similar products, so we decided to put them both on sale. They are both, I believe, 50% off. I'm just going to double check my browser over here in the background. Yes, half off. We stashed a bunch of them, so thanks to Jelly and the new products team and Travis, everyone over there who's making this work behind the scenes. It's appreciated as a lot goes into this. So we have a bunch that got stashed, and then they are made available during the show. You don't need a coupon code or anything. You just simply go to these URLs or these QR codes and buy some. Throw them in your cart. They're going to be half off listed price, up to 10 per customer, no resellers allowed. And I believe you could get 10 of each of these. So if you had some big plans with today's product pick, then go for it. But as is custom here, before I say any more, I'm going to let Lady Ada jump back a little bit in time and tell us about this week's product picks. So take it away, Lady Ada.
It's the UPDI Friend.
Yay, UPDI Friend, everybody's favorite buddy when it comes to programming AT-Tiny AVRs. So modern AVR chips, the latest AT-Tiny chips, use a new programming interface called UPDI, which is basically a synchronous one-wire UART, which means it's much easier to wire up and manage than SPI with a separate reset line. But you do need to have a little bit of specialized hardware to interface with it. And so that's what this is. It's based off of an open source design that I saw by Stephen Wagner. He did such a good job. I was like, I want to make this and sell it because I want to use this when I'm programming these chips. So if we go to the overhead one, yeah. So it's got USB Type-C and a CH340E USB serial converter, which works perfectly fine. I've used it up to 200 kilobit per second. It's got a power LED, and you can select between 3 or 5 volt logic and power. The power comes from either a 500 milliamp LDO regulator for 3 volts or from USB for 5 volts. So you can actually use it to really power chips. There's also a little TX LED that will blink red when data is being transmitted. And there's a 1K resistor between the RX and TX lines. Basically, I use this every day when I'm programming AT-Tiny chips, especially since I'm shipping it with a JST-SH cable. So the cable you see here comes with it. It plugs into the little connector, and it gives you the power, red, ground, black, and data line, white, so that I can plug it into a breadboard so easily. Like you can see here, and it powers the project as well as lets me do my programming. And in theory, I can also do debugging, although to be honest, I've only used it for programming.
By popular demand, the high voltage version of our UPDI Friend. Look at this beauty. So we have the UPDI Friend that we put in the store a couple weeks ago that lets you program your favorite AT-Tiny UPDI programmable chips, but will not give you that 12 volt pulse needed to unbrick chips that were fused to use the UPDI pin for reset or GPIO. Now, most people don't need that, but if you do need that because you want to use that GPIO or you have a chip that requires the high voltage pulse, this is a similar UPDI programmer, but has a little boost converter, gives you the 12 volts, and then when the RTS serial line toggles, which, you know, the UPDI serial programmer will do automatically on serial port open. You'll get that pulse, and it'll let you program the chip. So very handy.
Yes, it is. That's right. So this is the product picked of these, right? These are the product picks of the week this week. It is the UPDI programmer and the high voltage UPDI programmer. These are serial USB serial programmers, which you can use with your ATtiny chips. So, for example, we have these cute little they usually say seesaw on them, these little seesaw boards, but these are ATtiny 818, 817, and 1616 chips that we have on these convenient little teeny tiny boards. But how do you program them? These come with seesaw on them for a particular use, but these are basically little nice chips that you can program in Arduino pretty easily. But to program them, you need something like this. So the UPDI programmer has the 3 pins on there for power, ground, and data. Plug them into power, ground, and the UPDI pin on this board, and then you can program away inside of Arduino, and this can be a little tiny standalone programmed board, which is way, way cool. I want to show you some demos of that. First, though, let's go to the product page. So we've got this right here. This is product 5879, and this is the UPDI programmer. You can see today, right now, during this show, until the end of the show, it's $3.48, quite a bargain. And this one, the bigger brother, this one is the high voltage version. These work essentially the same, the only difference being that this one is capable of sending out a little 12-volt pulse upon serial contact with the chip so that it can reverse a bricked chip. If you have a pin that has been set to be a reset pin or a GPIO pin, it needs to be toggled with that 12 volt to tell it, hey, we're about to reprogram you. But otherwise, they are the same. They are this right here, by the way, to get specific. There's a lot in that photo. So that's what they look like. And in fact, I've got a little set of images here I made of that one right there. That's the UPDI Friend, top and bottom. And that right there, that is the high voltage version of it. So you can see it's just a little bit longer, a little bit bigger. So how do you use these? Let's do a little bit of a demo, shall we? I'm going to jump over to this view of the world. So you can see here, I've got my UPDI programmer. I have this little 3-pin JST-SH cable that it comes with. I just happen to put some heat shrink tubing on mine to keep the wires neat. And you can see I've plugged it into a tiny little breadboard right here. And that is going into the power V-in on my little board I want to program. In this case, it's the 1616, ATtiny 1616. I've got ground, and then I have the data pin going to the UPDI pin on the board there. You can see I've got a bunch of these little LED noodles, little nudes plugged into there as well. And when I plug in the UPDI programmer, little UPDI Friend there, you can see I've got it set to 5 volt because this is a board that can handle the 5 volt power and logic. You could switch that to 3 if you want. In fact, it'll just make everything dimmer in this case, but I'll leave it set to 5 volt. And now if you look in my Arduino session over here, I have a little set of PWM pins, 4 of them on here. And right now I'm just fading one of them, but I've got these channels set to 4. I've changed this back to just look at that channels variable. And so I'm going to re-upload that to my little ATtiny through my little UPDI Friend. And the way I'll do that is just simply head into Upload Using Programmer. So this has been found on my USB serial ports list. I've set up Arduino to know that it's programming this board and this chip. And it's fast. When I hit Upload Using Programmer, you're going to see it is going to very quickly make the connection, upload, send the code, and boom, now I have all of these 4 pins doing PWM stuff. Now, the neat thing here is I can unplug the UPDI Friend. I can, in fact, pull that entirely out of that breadboard. And now I can battery power this. So you can see I have a little 3 AAA battery pack plugged in. So I turn that on, and now I've got this little programmed chip on there. UPDI Friend doesn't need to be plugged in anymore. We're done with that, even though it was providing power before. Now I've got battery power. And I've made a really neat little low-cost, super low-profile, tiny little lighting controller here. You could program that to have GPIO inputs so that maybe there's buttons or knobs that are involved with it. You can get pretty elaborate. That little chip there can handle a lot. But the nice thing is it doesn't have the sort of weight of a USB to serial converter built onto it. It doesn't have the USB power circuit on there. So instead, we can just plug in a little battery pack into it, and off we go with a very cool little low profile chip there. Let's see. Yeah, that's all there is to it. So we've got a few of these. I had another similar example here. Here's another one of those, and I put some header pins on that so I can program that. Same thing, UPDI programmer, plug into it, tell it what to do, and then that code is uploaded to the chip, and we're done with the UPDI Friend, ready to go program something else with it. So let's see. If we plug this back in, just for fun, just so you can see how that works, I'm going to turn that power off. By the way, before I move on from this, I'll just show you what I did here. Was I took since there's only one ground pin on here, and I wanted to maybe not have to use the breadboard in this other setup, I just took a battery pack and attached it to the red and black wires of a JST SH4 pin. Since this is a STEMMA QT board, it's made for that. And so I'm powering it through that. That's totally legit right there, I promise. I think it is. But if I want to go and program it again, I'm going to plug in power, ground, and look for that UPDI pin. It's labeled on the bottom side. On the top side, it doesn't have a label on that one pin right there, but it does have pins numbered above and below it, so it's not too hard to find. And so battery pack is essentially off. Plug that in, and you can see it's powering the whole thing nicely. And now we can go back over to Arduino. I don't know if you'll be able to see if I switch which sketch I'm showing. No, you won't. So I'm going to stay with that one, but I'll just change the number of channels that I'm driving here to just be one, and it'll just send that. Oops, I'm doing the wrong thing here. This is a mistake that I made. Our guide now tells you how to do this properly. We have a nice guide I'll show you in a second. I went and did upload. We're not actually upload. We're doing upload using programmer. There just doesn't happen to be a button for that. But Command-Shift-U will do it, or you can do it up in the main menu. So there it goes. It's blinking. It's got the little power LED on there. It's got a little serial transmit LED. And now you can see I've reprogrammed my little ATtiny with just a single PWM pin on there. So let's see. If we head over back to the site. So yeah, there are these two. If you look at either one of these, you will see down below, I think we've got links for all three of these, or at least two of these ATtiny breakouts, which are a likely thing that you'd want to program. And if you take a look here, we have this nice guide, Adafruit UPDI Friend from Liz Clark. And this tells you how to set it up. You can check out overview here. This basically refers to both boards. It was written for the first one without the high voltage, but the high voltage follows the same exact procedure here. The pinout here, you can see if you don't want to use the JST SH, you can wire or add some headers, put that in a breadboard for the UPDI power and ground pins. And that's about all there is to it. Not a lot in the pinout. And then there's this really nice page on how to set up Arduino for programming one of the ATtiny chips using your UPDI programmer. And there's both build your own. So this first example shows using an FTDI, or a serial cable, USB to TTL serial cable, and a resistor to make a programmer, or now just use this guy. It's dead easy. You will add a board manager URL so that the Arduino board manager can use the tiny mega core board, and then you'll set up which chip you're using, set the clock speed, and set the programmer speed, and then you can compile it and upload it using that upload to programmer command. You can see right there, upload using programmer. And then this will take you through a blink test. You can use any of your typical Arduino commands from that point forward and send it to that little board. Let's see, questions. Let's look over in the chat. Thank you, Todd. Todd liked the demo. Yeah, these new noodles are fun. I was doing this version originally that was going to show some of our little teeny surface mount LEDs that are on wires that I've used for some of my miniatures lighting, but they're neat. But then I realized, hey, wait, PWM some of these noodles and it'll look even cooler. Rufus says, if I buy the high voltage version, is the low voltage version needed, or will the high voltage one do all the chips and not damage anything with that 12 volt pulse? Yeah, I'm just using the 12 volt one. It'll work the same. It just gives you that extra capability to flash the UPDI pin. All these chips are fine with that. If you're using any of our ATtiny breakout boards, you'll be fine. So I would say if you think you'll ever want to turn that into eke that one last GPIO pin or use it as a reset, that UPDI pin can be switched over to BGPIO. But to reprogram it, you'll need that 12 volt pulse to say, hey, wait, okay, stop being a GPIO pin for a second. We're going to program you. So if you're debating, if you think you might ever run into that situation, then you can get the high voltage one, which is this one right here. So it's $1 more today. Normally, those are $3 more. So these are normally $6.95 and $9.95. Today they are $3.48 and $4.98. So $1.50 more, roughly. What else? Tyeth says, now we need someone to suggest a good/mischievous reprogramming idea for some quad rotary encoder seesaws. Yeah, so that's I love that idea, Tyeth. I was thinking about this. So if you look in our search here for seesaw, a few of the Stemma QT breakouts, like the PC joystick, the mini I2C gamepad, Neotrellis Feather. Some of these might be a SAM-D21, so you want to double check which ones use that ATtiny. But where's the joystick or the rotary encoder? So this one right here, if you look at this, what's on you? Are you a ATtiny? Let's check the guide. I can't remember what's on you. If anyone knows in the chat, let me know. But all right, that could take a while to find out. But yeah, so a lot of these little Stemma breakout boards have a ATtiny on them, so you can reprogram one of these to be a standalone board. It doesn't have to be plugged in over I2C to a microcontroller. Oh, sorry, yeah, thanks. Someone mentioned you can't see my window. Okay, so I was just looking over here. Here is this rotary encoder I2C breakout that Tyeth mentioned, and this is running a little seesaw chip. I think it's one of the ATtinys. We made some of these with SAM-D21s until those became impossible to find, but I suspect this one's a ATtiny. Let's see, do we mention? Oh no, this one's a SAM-D09. Maybe we have, I don't know if we have both now, but yeah, if you find ATtiny Stemma breakouts, you should be able to reprogram them as just little standalones, which is pretty neat. What else? Tyeth also asked, do different seesaws have similar ADC resolutions? I believe that the ATtiny ones do. If you look at ATtiny breakouts, this is a guide that has the 816 and the 1616 and then the 817. I think the difference on these is mostly memory. I don't believe they have different resolutions on the ADCs. So let's see. Yeah, so here's the 817 AK flash, 512 bytes RAM, 128 bytes EEPROM. Same. And it's a 10-bit, so 9 10-bit ADC, 9 10-bit ADC. Yeah, I think those are the same. Yeah, but if you're looking at those boards, if you're looking at those cool little seesaw boards and think you want to program them, this is a nice way to do it. And let's see, Rufus said, most folks are well advised to check the include 3-wire connector wires. Oh, do we not have those automatically? I thought those came in the bag anyway. What is this? Oh, I think that might be if you want a socket. Yeah, so it comes with this one, which is the header pins. If you have a use case where you've got male header pins on your little seesaw board there, your little AT-Tiny board, then you might want to check that and get them. That just gives you more options. But the one it comes with is this pin version. You don't need to add that on. We should probably make that a little clearer in case it's not. Do we say includes? We should say on here somewhere. JST SH cable included for quick plugging into a breadboard. Or you can get the socket one here or with a pin header here. That's an extra. So that's what it comes with right there. Hope that wasn't too late, Rufus. Otherwise, you may have ended up with some extra cables. Maybe not a bad thing. And yeah, these are 3 pins, so these are not going to accidentally fit into a I2C. Those are our Stemma I2C are 4-pin, so you won't be accidentally plugging the wrong thing in there. Okay, what have I got? Anything else? This is the URL. That's the place right there if you want to go check those out. And happy hacking with these. These are really neat. Really makes life easy for plugging in and programming those boards. Okay, I think that'll do it. So let's wrap this up. You know what? I'll pull that cable out of there and say that right there is my product pick of the week this week. Whoops! Why is this window here? Make that clean. That right there is my product pick of the week this week. It is the UPDI Friend and UPDI High Voltage Friend for programming your AT-Tiny chips. For Adafruit Industries, I'm John Park. This has been JP's product pick of the week, and we'll see you later.